Alrighty folks, just making another impromptu video. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and a holiday season with their families. I know we still got New Year's coming up and everything else. So yeah, I feel you on the being busy part. Anyways, I think we're going to go ahead and work on the 175 Canadien here. So it's got some rigged up fuel line. Don't mind me. I've had a sore throat for a little bit, but it's got a rigged up fuel line. I think it was a random piece of brake bleeder hose I had laying around, so it is not rated for gas or anything else, just to see if it would fire. The saw does fire if you prime it. Currently doesn't draw out of the tank very well, but I have had this thing apart before, as you can see by the little handguard stabilizer that goes up here in this corner has been removed. So a little bit about this saw, and I don't know the exact specifics. I know there's a website that you can look up, give you the bore stroke specs and everything else, but I believe this is a PM product. It does have a manual oiler. On this one, the choke lever right here, when I bought it, it didn't have it. You can still manually access it. I don't know if you can see, but right here, your on-off trigger. You got your fuel tank, pull starter, and then you got your oil tank, exhaust, everything else, chain tensioner, your standard chainsaw items. So I think I have a very short bar for this saw to run, but I'd have to go looking for it. But anyways, plans for this thing, because I'm not trying to drag this out too long, because I don't really have any parts for this. This is more of a attack plan for this saw. What I'd like to do is to repaint this. This is one of the magnesium cast saws, and it's not like I can go to the store and go buy a new part for this. Clean it up. Let's see. The whole 9 yards. I know it'll, like I said, it'll fire. It's not happy. I think every gasket on this saw needs to be replaced at some point, or at least checked. It does have air leaks at the tillets and carb that's under here. I've seen better days. Look at the air filter. I gotta do something about that. But this has a pretty kind of cool design. It's a fairly large saw. I will say this thing is very heavy. I'd probably say it's about 20 pounds. So it's not like your 1010s or a modern saw. So this will wear your back out. But it's what people had at the time, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to repaint the heat plate, do all that. I think I got a carb kit laying around. I'll go ahead and do one of those. If I have a way, I don't know if you can see, but there's a fitting down there. That's a little plastic one right in the back there. It's pointed out, opposed to the fuel tank. And I think it's a plastic piece. So at the end of the day, if I can find a brass, not plug, but a 90-degree, and then turn that to be closer, so all it has to do is make this little band loop here. I think that'll be better for packaging and for the fuel line. But yeah, I would take this apart, go through the whole thing. I got some ideas as far as the exhaust port goes. Let me see if I can find a socket real quick that'll fit this. Let's see. I think it's might be an 11. Well, not an 11, but it's close enough that I can get it off, I think. Here, I'm gonna set you. I don't think I have anywhere to set this down. So I do have a GoPro coming, so I'll be able to mount you, and then I'll actually be able to work on these saws better. But I got a couple things. This saw is never going to be a modern saw competitor. It's just the way it's designed. It's not up with modern specs on a chainsaw. I'm never going to be able to have you go out and take this and cut just like a Husqvarna or a Still or anything like that. But to me, it is nice to extract the best you can out of a saw within reason. So I think I might do a little bit of exhaust porting. I'm not going to open anything up height-wise, because then you mess with the timing numbers. I'm not that, I would say I'm not that schooled in that field. So, you know, I gotta get better at this. I didn't realize half of you guys were upside down for a second, but I'm trying to get the exhaust off with one hand's fun. And there goes my gasket. So, let me reach that. So anyways, if I can find a light, which I can never find. Actually, let's see here. Let's see here. So, if you can look, I don't know if you can see it all so well, but there's 2 holes right there. There's actually 4. There's 2 in the sides, and this has really thick rings on it. Now the piston and everything has a little bit of scoring because I think there's carbon and whatnot up in here, but it's super, the exhaust port's super shrouded, so I kind of want to remove the 2 outer pieces. Here, let's see if I can do this without moving y'all too far. I kind of would like to go in and take out this piece. There's a piece right here that mirrors this piece over here. I think I'd like to take them out and just see what I can do for flow. If that is a sleeve inside of there, which it kind of looks like it might be, then we'll address that. And I'll have to taper the edges off to make sure the ring is okay and happy. The other thing I have to look for is if there's a pinned ring. I don't know how these rings are set up. It's an awful thick ring, so I don't want to get it caught. So there's that. But I do have a sandblasting cabinet I'm going to go pick up. So I believe with these magnesium cast pieces, you're not supposed to use an aluminum oxide or traditional blasting element, because it'll get lodged in there and then it reacts. Don't quote me on that, but to be safe, rather than sorry, I think I'm going to go with either walnut shell or glass beads. The hardware, I'm going to have to run through a tumbler. This stuff is way older than I am, and I could probably replace most of this. I think I will, but I do like going back with the original stuff. I do think the metal was made a little better back then. Seals definitely need replaced. The cap, if I can find one, you know, it's kind of dewy right there, but I'll do what I can. Previously, I had already painted a couple pieces. This is the centrifugal clutch cover that's actually inside here. It was starting to rust really bad, and the wood chip screen that goes in your recoil right in here, you can see that's missing. I took this apart because the recoil at one point wasn't happy. Speaking of the recoil, this has a very odd system. I don't know what you would call it, but when you pull on this, if I pull really slow, it won't turn at all. You see, there's no movement on that engine fan balancer, whatever you want to call it. You have to pull this pretty good to get, there's like pucks in here and a cup, and it uses centrifugal force when you pull to engage it. So, you know, just something to realize. These you can't pull over very easily. You actually have to give it a little bit, and you can kind of hear them rattling around in there. It takes a good pull. So that's that. The tank's been pretty good condition. Like I said, I think everything's just getting a paint job. It's going to go back together. I'm going to do a factory-esque rebuild on this thing. The cylinder's not too bad because I don't know. This cylinder or this filter for the cylinder in the intake is not doing the saw any wonders. So, I mean, it's pretty clean in here, but then again, it hasn't been cutting. I don't think this mesh would be stopping anything aside from giant wood chips. This thing's probably eaten more dust than I ever have. I think we're going to go back. I might mess with this throttle linkage a little bit. It's very short. It doesn't have the same throw like your normal throttle linkage would have. So, yeah, I think that's my game plan. When I get some parts, hopefully I'll be able to get you back in here to see more. So, have a good one.